Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Penguin Review Series, Episode 4. Oh, I didn't even change my name. I'm still the Clown Prince of Bowling Blowing. You can check out our Patreon, because soon that's in name of Superman 3. That retrospective will be coming to you guys very
Yeah,
soon.
right.
Quite a time. We're about to do Superman 4. So, yeah, patrons, get on that. Patreon producers, you're going to get them very soon. If you want to just become a regular patron, phase 2 and up, we'll get those monthly because Patreon, right now, we got Fantastic Four and Superman, which is going to be our exclusive retros for the next little bit here. So, yes, and I'm joined by.
The Window, Taylor Field.
I thought you said the widow at first, so I was
Nope.
confused. But yes, we are back. Kirkland should be maybe joining us in a little bit, but we'll see. But yeah, thank you to everybody that listens to the podcast always just a little bit day later. Because if you don't know, we are a Canadian podcast, so it was our Thanksgiving. We tried to do it last night, but all of us, that's just how it goes. Is you think, dinner's at this time, we're gonna do this time. People are having fire alarms go off in Kirkland's sake, but yeah, it just didn't work out. So we're here a little bit a day, a day late, but that's okay. Still a great episode to talk about. We have lots of good things happening this week. What do we got? After 9 is happening this week. Megalopolis is not out, so we're going to be watching. If you want to join again. Lots of good stuff happening on Patreon right now. Two things which remind me. One, I got to put out the Halloween poll. Patreon producers are going to be voting which Halloween movie we're going to be watching. There's some different picks in there, so we got that coming up. And then also Phase 2 and Patreon's up this weekend, Saturday at 10 a.m. PST. Is it Saturday or Sunday? I don't want to screw up. It's Saturday, right? Yeah,
Saturday.
We're going to be watching Pooh, Blood, and Honey 2. I don't think you need to see the first one, but I guess you always can. But
You definitely need to watch the first one.
I don't think so.
It's all a universe that's connected. You got to know what's going on.
I highly doubt it. I think you could get 5. But yeah, it's our movie night. We do one every quarter, and it's gonna be us with some patrons having a good time. I think last year's Halloween we watched The Mean One, so that was a fun time. So yeah, come join, and lots of good stuff. Venom 3 predictions are coming up. We're reviewing this and Agatha every week, so check that out. Side quests will be happening, so as always, lots of good stuff on the feeds. And the most important thing is Extra Life is happening just under 3 weeks from now, Terry. You ready?
Oh,
I've had everyone be
God.
like, oh, it's that time again already? And it's like, yeah, it is that time again. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time. We are going to be staying up 24 hours to raise funds for the BC Children's Hospital. We would like to raise $2,500, so we would very much appreciate that. Even if it's just $1 you could donate, we very much appreciate it. All those donations are tax deductible. There's going to be tons of fun things going on. We got trivia back. We're going to be playing Twister, the GA crew for the first time, so hopefully we don't injure each other. Kirkland and Dylan are doing some chess. We're going to be doing some 3-layered charades. We're going to be doing, oh gosh, what else is there? There's tons of stuff. So
Was there Jenga?
Jenga is at some point happening. We're going to be doing a Marvel Arcade Hour. We're doing Fight Club Tournament number 2. Fight Club 2 is happening, where it's just us and hopefully one of us can win. I went back and watched the footage. I forgot that Sarah came in unpromptu and he won the whole thing. So
Accepted my loss. I'm gonna fight, but there's a few of those games like, man, if it's not that original what was that original fighting game we did? I just fucking popped off out of
Killer
nowhere.
Instinct?
That's the one.
Yeah.
It's not that. I don't know. Kirkland hops in the Mortal Kombat. Dylan just instinctively knows how to win, and he just cleans house in that game.
Well, this year we got some different ones. We're doing Marvel and Capcom from like the old
Looking forward to
era. Yeah, we got that. We're gonna be doing multiverses, which I'm not sure if you've ever played. I think a lot of people haven't played.
I played it.
We'll do some more Mortal Kombat. So yeah, tons of fun there. And yeah, lots of good stuff. If we hit certain amounts, I'm gonna shave my head completely bald. Taylor's gonna be doing some funky stuff with his beard.
What?
Give him some, give him the mun chops, give him the Hulk Hogan stash, all that good jazz. So like I said, tune in our social media. We'll be announcing more stuff. And if you can't donate, that's fine. Just on the day, come watch, like the video, share. We'd very much appreciate it. Because like we said, the money all goes towards families that are in need, that need surgeries, all that type of stuff. You go to our link and they have all the information there on what we do and what the funds, our funds and your funds go towards. So we very much appreciate that. Taylor, what did you think of, obviously, non-spoilers, episode 4 of... Oh, I was so mad. I didn't know how to pronounce it. And then she said it in her toast, like the name of the episode's like Sakanti or something like that. But she said it so smoothly. And I was like, oh, I got to adopt that now. Less 24 hours, already out of my brain, So Taylor's looking up. He's going to try and find it. But
Weird. I don't even know how to spell it. So
We'll just put Penguins episode 4. I'll look into it. Tell me about episode 4.
Yeah, I think that this episode was wonderful. You go in and you're thinking you're gonna get like the follow up, just like Penguin, Victor. Now again, non spoilers. You think you're gonna get them kind of like the explosion and the fallout and everything going on with their journey and everything after that last heated episode, but it's just a nice simmering narrative that's focusing on a certain story that is just great to get this backstory, and you get a lot more emphasis on this character. And I just thought this was awesome. And it's not all just following on this little narrative. It takes that's kind of a spoiler. It gets kind of wrapped up at the end, and oh my god, where'd I get? I've been eaten.
What happened here?
What's going on?
What did Kirkland do? I'm just here.
Where
he
am
comes
I?
in. He's gonna mess with the whole thing.
What
Oh,
are you guys
God.
doing with your settings in here?
Yeah, I just think that when you get into this end part of the episode here, it's just fantastic because holy shit, it just last week definitely set the stage for some crazy shit to be coming, and now this episode I feel like has set the stage again. Like, oh man, like we're halfway through and the powers to be have really started to step into their shoes, and so it's just going to be absolutely bonkers. Now I thought for sure that the story with Oz was going to go a different route, but again, like he wasn't necessarily a large focal point in this episode, which is fine, but I felt like his story was going to go one way. But the way that they showed how certain things unfolded, and the way and when he was just addressing certain people, I was like, holy fuck, like this is crazy. And it's just yeah, it's just nuts. There's something about it that's just so like addicting with the way that they've written this, and just how much of a player he really is, especially after that moment he had with Sophia. So yeah, it's absolutely bonkers. This is just a fucking great episode. I love this show, so I can't wait to get to next week. But yeah, pass it along. Hi, Kirkland.
concur.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. Yes, I fucking love this episode. This episode was absolutely insane. I feel like what was so good about it was that it was very surprising. Like I wasn't expecting to get an episode like this really at all in this show, but it was very welcome. Definitely focusing more on Sophia and kind of just a little bit more of her backstory, and I was just kind of shocked with what we were getting. I feel like some of the revelations was not what I was expecting to get in this season, and it added a lot of I don't know, some spice into an already spicy tale. So yeah, I thought it was really good, and then of course quality. It's just immaculate. Like the score in this episode was like so much more, I don't know, just like up there for me. I feel like it just added a lot more intensity to some already really intense scenes, like some almost disturbing scenes. So that was nice to have. And yeah, just like, I don't know, peering into like a side of Gotham that I don't know, it's not like it's my first time seeing like something in Gotham portrayed this way, but this one just felt so much more like, I don't know, scary. But like not even, because like I could compare it to like other scary factors that maybe something like Arkham hits on, definitely like in the games, but just in general, like I feel like this was maybe like a more realistic view on it, and for that reason, it just felt a lot scarier. So yeah, I really like the decision with what we did there. What's this chick's name? Christine Milioti, man. My gosh, this was like just seeing
not
like
Milioti man, just so everybody knows. Yeah.
not the man version, the woman version. But no, I thought she's already been so fantastic throughout the show, but this episode specifically, she goes places that I don't know, it was just wild to see, and phenomenal performances. And yeah, no, this was a fantastic episode. I'm excited to break it down.
So Taylor, this is what we were talking about. This Kirkland, the name of the episode and the speech she's given. It's whatever it means.
Chintani or whatever the hell they say.
Let's see.
To new beginnings.
Hang on.
Chantani.
Chitani.
That's how I said it, right? Chintani.
You're missing a little bit of the. You're missing a little bit of the spice
G?
on there, the
Is that what you
Italian
said? I heard a
spice.
G.
Chitani, but
I even did the hand motion too.
literally when she said that, I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool. I'm gonna adopt that. And then when we got him, like, I don't fucking know what she said. I can't remember, but Yeah, no, I echo these guys. This show, like, I don't know. The show continues. It's like I run out of praise for it. It just makes me very excited for when we get to the Batman. Like I just trust this team so much. I think there's just certain things I've been waiting to see in live action where, yeah, sure they've done, like, people have seen the promotional stuff. Sure they've done Arkham and then Gotham stuff like that, but like I feel like I've always been wanting to see Arkham as a truly terrifying place, and we only got like a glimpse of it. I really hope there were those rumors I remember a couple of years ago, and they shuffled things around that they were developing that Arkham Asylum show. Man, I would take a whole show of Matt Reeves' Arkham Asylum because like I feel like we just got like a sliver, we got a taste of it here, and I just feel like lots of times it's hard because like do you make it very comical? Do you just make it very like oh lots of characters everywhere? But with this, it just felt like a sense of you do not want to be in this place, which to me Arkham should be, right? Unless you're like the fucking Joker who can match that crazy. If you're for your at least even for your first time, you should be going in there and it should be a rough ride, which is so for Sophia. But yeah, she not that she hasn't, but just knocked out of the park. It's a centric episode, and I think it did two things that I'm always asked for. I feel like there's so many shows we review lately where we're like, oh, it'd be really great if we got just like a full flashback episode of this character, and we just don't because either the shows are too short or they're not like they're not many episodes. Like, oh, we don't have time for that. But I think we talked about like even today. I remember we talked about Ahsoka. I can't remember who are the two names. Ray Stevenson and his character. But yeah, currently didn't watch, but there was the two like Sith-like characters, and the same thing of like, oh, these characters wouldn't be great if we got like a whole flashback to tell a little bit about him, how they meet. Unfortunately, Ray Stevens passed away, so I imagine they'll recast. But I just feel like there's so many shows in the geek like fandom that we watch that need that need like a hey, we don't have enough context here. Even I hope in Agatha, that's something we've talked about last week, Taylor. It's like I kind of think this is needed, and I hope that happens where maybe it got too tropey for a while. Maybe people got tired of the flashback episode. But to me, it's like there's a reason why it was like a trope in most shows because you could learn a lot. And my second point is, which I think they did really well, is they did revelations and they did reveals that if you watch episodes 1 to 3, you wouldn't even know, and it didn't feel like a slap in the face or like a twist for the sake of a twist. Like, oh, we got you there, you didn't see this coming. And it's like, well, that's just dumb because that doesn't make sense or that feels very forced. This is stuff where, oh, I read that completely wrong, but now when you go back, even we'll talk about in spoilers, there's little things even last week that were said that's like, oh, like I don't think we even talked about, like that's odd. And then this week when you see the episode, you're like, oh, this makes complete sense now. So yeah, I don't know. It's just like like great TV 101 where it's just this character that, spent 10 years away. It would make sense to do that sole episode. And even then I thought this was a great hybrid because it was mostly a flashback, but minor spoilers, there was still stuff that was going on in the present day plot and important stuff too. It didn't feel like she took a drink of alcohol whole episode and then like at the end the glass is done. It's like, oh, next week on Penguin. It's like, no, there's like at least 10 to 15 minutes was like, oh shit, now we're again in a completely new spot. And I think the series, I think you said this here, it's going in a different place than I thought for sure. Even last week, I'm like, oh, Oz will find his way out of this situation. It's like,
That's right.
I don't think so anymore. Like, I think, and this is what I love. Again, I'm not trying to bring other stuff down and raise this, but I feel like episodes like this for the shows we've reviewed lately happen in like the second or third last episode where it's like, okay, we're just set up for the finale. And even then we'll either say there's too much to do or it's like, we really wish this happened earlier. This is episode 4. We're not even halfway, or I always forget. I think it's 8 episodes, right? Or
Should be 8.
Is it 8 or
Agatha's
10?
9. This is 8. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so even then, halfway point, two things. One, all these episodes are a full hour. So we got, at least around 4 hours left. And it's happening in the midway. Like, I would have been so pissed if this was, which happens a lot in these shows, the penultimate episode and then the finale they have to rush to wrap everything up, right? It's like, we can take our time with this. So no, this for me was easily the best episode. I know last week in our Discord, there was a debate of like 1 versus 3. I completely get that one. But this for me is like, it's up there for multi, and even Oz. Like we got to see different shades, so it's just, man, it's just great. Can't say enough about it. Not enough good things about it. So, we ready to get into spoilers here?
Oh yes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes. Okay. A little breaking the fourth wall. Taylor Kirkland, who's taking this one? I can't take this. I got family downstairs, so I don't want to take this one. So,
I mean, take it,
Either or.
Kirkland.
Sure.
I got it.
big threat. All right, we'll be right back after this ad break. And we're back. So yes, if you didn't watch the episode, or if you did, whatever, but dancing around, what happens is we pick up right where we see a little bit more of the conversation from last week when Penguin and Sophia were on their knees. At least last week it was, oh, like I wonder what happened, and Penguin left her, so you could see the line, right, of Penguin. Oh, I didn't know what to do. I thought they got you. I'm so happy you're alive. Da, 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 da. This was so like I can't remember her name, but the one of the Maroney crime bosses, the lady we always praise, just talking to Oz, and Oz is like, yeah, like I don't need her. I just need to bring her in for this, but she means nothing to me. Like he's just saying all this bad shit, and again, he reminds me of like a evil version of Jack Sparrow, because Jack Sparrow would do that, right? Where anytime he got caught, it's like he would turn on the situation, but he literally is just saying like, yeah, you could I'm paraphrasing, but he's pretty much saying, oh, you could kill her, like I don't really need her, I just needed her to bring in the drug. Like it's just he does, because I even thought for a minute he would try to like talk like candidly and like maybe not like say so much so Sophia would pick up, but he just sells out Sophia like right away. He doesn't even wait. He doesn't even fucking wait. And that's why it's such a good juxtaposition of last week when he's like, oh, you just gotta trust me, I'll show you. And it's just like, I don't like, do you guys think there's any chance Sophia like on purpose will, and I guess too she insinuated that he killed Alberto too, so that's like, that's kind of fucked up now too. So Taylor, what do you think happens?
He left her. She saw that he just drove off and left her. So like
she physically saw it. Yeah, they locked eyes. They locked, and I just saw the drive. He looked at her, and then they left. But Superman Mike says, fun fact: the title. Oh, I've already forgotten it. Satani. Shintani is an Italian toaster, loosely translate, may those live 100 years. Well, that didn't happen in this episode, but we'll get there. But yeah, Taylor, what's Oz up to next week?
Yeah, I think that this episode was just kind of like setting up the scene, and you just hear like the narration over the top of Oz just saying like, or Sophia's like, "How can I trust you?" And she's like, "Well, I'll show you how." And then it just cuts to just him like, "Yeah, fuck her. I didn't need her. I've always been loyal to you guys." Like, just totally, just turning a dime here. It was great. And I did not expect him to actually do that. I thought he was gonna pull something out of his butt, and maybe this is all part of a plan. He was trying to like set them up, the Maronis, so that he could prove to Sophia like, "Hey, I'm actually working with you for this." Like, just something. And yeah, it didn't work like that. He got the fuck out of there. And Sophia, I didn't think was gonna die, but I thought, man, this is not going good for her. I did not expect to get the flashback with her character, but yeah, just everything like with Oz just was great. Holy shit, it was great. And I'm okay with him being the back seat in this episode too. I feel like what I got was great, and I can just kind of stew on that, and then we can tackle him after the fact. I don't know what he's gonna do, because I feel like what Sophia said at this point, or was it at this point? Maybe it was at the end when she was with the therapist. But she says like, I got no, like my family doesn't want me here. I gotta go. If I don't go, they'll kill me. And I got like no. Her lab is gone too. She's really fucked. And I feel like, okay, that's the same position as Oz. Oz is fucked by both families now. So what is he gonna pull off? All he got is his life right now, and Vic, and a damaged car. So I'm not sure what he's got.
Well, I just find that
daughter.
Yeah, he's got a sister. Got the sister.
Sister.
And his mom. He's got his mom too. Don't forget about her. She'll be in the third act, just with a machine gun.
Clayface's mom too.
No, he's got the whole Carlo family. But no, like that's what's interesting. I guess we'll get there eventually. But it's just, I'm even curious with Sophia. Like, how does that work as far as, okay, Carmine dies, right? And then, okay, it's going to go to Alberto. He dies. Okay, then it goes to the uncle / brother, right? But, like, clearly, this was not, I don't think, as we learned in this episode, she at one point is going to take over the family, question her dad once, done, you're out. So I don't think the next person in line was her. So I was just even thinking about, like, bank accounts, like I feel like there's a natural, like, hey, here's all the Falcone, trust fund, everything. You get it in an email document, a folder, all the lawyers, right? And maybe that's why Johnny's alive, so we'll see. I guess that's why. But when everyone's died, I'm like, how does she still take over though? Like, how does she get access to this and that and that? So that's why I'm wondering if that's how they're going to make it, that she doesn't make it the Batman 2, or some of the family or the people that work for them, or it's kind of like she's like, well, I'm a Falcone, I run it, but it's like, well, technically you don't because like you weren't handed. And I wonder somehow if they might trust Oz because he's been around longer than her now, right? Because she was locked up for 10 years. So I don't know. Maybe next week it just picks up and it's classic, like everyone works for her. But I was wondering how that works because she definitely was not in the succession plan anymore, right? So
Maybe it goes to the little girl.
that's why she kept her alive.
Yeah.
What was her name?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I was kind of just chuckling at the start of this episode because, of course, last week we're like speculating, like, oh, how's he gonna get out of this? Like, when are they gonna have that conversation between him and Sophia? Like, how everybody knows each other. Well, they fucking had it last week. We just weren't privy to that information, and yeah, it just like, man, like Penguin just showing his cards right then and there, and Sophia's just like shocked reaction, and then yeah, that was such a good start to the episode because the score in the background, I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was like a higher pitched tone, as if it's just like a flashbang went off, and it's just like a big reveal for like Sophia's perspective on what's happening. Like literally just mic drop moment for her, like from Penguin, of just like getting all this information. She's probably like in shock, like physically, because like she's realizing like her brother she loved, and then Oz the one that betrayed her, and then I love how that just triggers like the flashback. Like it was just like a perfect way to start the episode and get us into this flashback. And, like it's even better than if it would have just started to like her way back in the day, and like we just get like a whole flashback episode from that point. I feel like the fact that we picked up from last week carry that intensity of just like the ambush and everything. Like it just set a good tone to start the episode, and I don't know, it was just like a good setter for what we were about to get. And for what we were about to get was just like terrifying. And like I feel like up until this point I didn't really believe Sophia when she said she wasn't the hangman. Like I thought she
Me
was
too.
just psychologically like triggered, which
Or
I
it's
guess
like she's misunderstood,
Yeah,
right? Like she's not
yeah.
trying to be a serial killer. It's like, well, I did this for X, Y, and Z. I'm not the fucking like person. Like, I'm not the Riddler, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because like I feel like although she's got some traits, she felt very defensive anytime someone said the hangman or anything like that. And it's kind of like how Penguin reacts when someone calls him like a rat or something. He's just
Yeah.
like instantly like super defensive. Yeah. So yeah, that was just like shocking. That revelation that Carmine Falcone would do that to like his own family member, and then like it's one thing to just like, okay, I'm gonna teach her a lesson, do like a weekend in Arkham, scared straight sort of style, but like
Yeah.
he literally like permanently fucked her, and then I guess from that fucked his whole legacy, right? Because of like what happens, like what she does later on. So it was just like a mind blowing like revelation episode of just like everything falling into place, and then by the end of it, it's like, oh my god, we're never going back to how things were before this episode. So yeah, I was just, I don't know, I really like the start of it, and how you mentioned Taylor, like how the episode, even before we see anything, it just has like that line from last week of like, how can I ever trust you? It's like, don't worry, like it's gonna
me
be
show ya.
yeah,
Let me
and
show
then the first thing we see is like him betraying her, and it's just like, oh my god. So this is gonna be an intense like back half of the series now, of just kind of like it on one hand it's interesting because we don't really get to see a lot of dynamics between Oz, Sophia, and the rest of the family now. We still have what's Buddy's name? Johnny
Vitti. Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting. I thought for sure she was gonna end him right then and there, but yeah, no, I am very much excited to see, because I feel like she's just gonna be like so souped up on like the scary level for at least Oz and his his allies. Like no one's safe in his circle.
Do you guys think that when that reporter first approached Sophia in that flashback, I had the gist that, okay, did Oz set this up? I don't know what point like he started putting things in motion. Was he just listening, and like the first step against her was him just ratting her out?
Well, I don't. That's what's so interesting with Oz, right? Because one thing I liked about this episode, where we said, oh, the first 3 episodes, he's still a villain, but we're kind of liking him. Where after this episode, I go, man, like, again, what a piece of shit. Like, even like in a whole loyalty with criminals, like you just sold out Sophia, like, right? And not even because like we knew he was gonna go with her, but this is like literally like making her walk the plank. Like if you're selling out to Maroney's, they're just gonna fucking execute her. But I feel like, and that's where last week too, he said, oh, I'm not a rat. I don't think he sent the reporter, who the reporter is a comic book character too, and there's another one we'll talk about later. I don't think he set that up, but I think he was just talking to Carmine to just kind of like brown nose a little bit, like get some good word. And I don't think as well either. Like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong to believe. I probably am. Oz is working me too. I just feel like when Oz last week said like, "Oh, I didn't know, like I didn't mean for that to happen." Like he was apologetic, and now we know why because of what happened to her, right? And he was trying to say like I never would have thought that he was gonna go that route or that hard. Like I said, I'm paraphrasing. Whatever the speech was, he's talking about how he did feel sorry. I don't know if I can believe that because he did just leave her to die, but I want to I want to believe that maybe there's a part of him that does think, because he even seemed like a little worked up when the cops were taking her away, right? So again, I'm still my hope is that, hey, in a world where it's Penguin versus somebody, Penguin is going to choose himself. So, Victor, look out, you're fucking dead man in 4 episodes. But I still think there's like, and I think that's what makes Oz a great character. I think there is some regret there of, okay, it's different when you go to prison, but she got sent to Arkham, which now we see in this episode is they've made it look like a really terrible place. It's not like some places where it's just like, oh yeah, Arkham, and it's just a jail, right? It's like, okay, yeah, you're using the name, but nothing that crazy. So I don't think he set her up, but I think he was just trying to get some brownie points and led her down a very bad path. And now it makes, to me, even I can't literally wait to rewatch this, because now with her reluctantly working with him, now I understand. Because not only was it just he told on her, but like he put her down the path of a terrible decade. That's tough to
Yeah.
work with that person now,
Oh, 100%. That was another thing I was thinking about while I was watching it, is like I can't wait to rewatch the show for many reasons, because it's just, top quality. It's fantastic, but it just seemed like a perfect placement for this type of episode too,
Yeah.
where like we could have started the show and like been introduced to her whole story. It's like, this is your player for the season, and then after that it's all modern episodes, but like you're really not invested at all in the story by that point, other than just the hype of the show, or you don't really know Sophia, so it's nice to kind of get introduced to her, hear a couple things about her, and then jump here, and then now we get to see what's actually real. And it really, like how you're mentioning, like last week, there's of course traits that we are rooting for the Penguin, and Colin Farrell's fantastic, so of course we want to kind of root for
even
our
in
main
this
character.
episode when he's the driver again, I felt bad for him.
yeah.
Everyone's so
He's
shitty
like a
to
bullied
him.
victim. Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
man, like this is where he gets the Penguin name. Like
yeah, and he has none of that snarl, and he's like in the driver, he feels full on like a kid who's been bullied his whole life, and he's like awkward. Like when
Yeah.
Alberto calls him the Penguin, he like winces a little and gets in a shell. It's like, oh man, I feel so bad for him. But then you remember again, like, shit guy, criminal, dealing drugs. But they did such a good job of, even, and again, Colin Farrell playing like a younger Penguin. They gave him like a little more hair.
Yeah.
But like he just felt different still. Other than the makeup, he felt like a different guy, and it was so cool to see.
Yeah, really, really cool to see. So, like, from last week to this week, I feel like it just shifts a lot of the way that I feel going forward for the rest of the show, for just, I don't know, how I feel about certain characters. And it's really, really nice placement for that, because, like if we would have had it earlier, I wouldn't have cared enough, because I just wouldn't have been invested. And if it would have happened way later, it's like, oh, man, like, this is some juice we should have got a while ago. So I think, like, dead center halfway through the show is, like, honestly perfect for this episode. And, yeah, it's funny, because, like, I feel like I love this episode for many reasons, but like I'm also just really invested in the character of Sophia. But like last week we also got a flashback of Vic, and it just felt like such a different, I don't know, like that one was also more bite-sized, whereas this is like a lot to kind of throw at us this week. But it didn't really feel like 2 back-to-back flashback episodes though. Like it felt like a nice placement for it overall. I don't know, I feel like there was something else I was gonna mention there with Sophia, but it's eluded me, unfortunately.
Do you guys think that Penguin, the next time he sees Sophia, does he try at all to grease the wheels and one more time, do a spin, or do you think he even knows?
I never needed the Maronis. I brought
Yeah.
them there for.
I was just
For
saying,
his
not
own
Sophia.
safety, I hope he's running in the opposite direction if he sees Sophia.
Yeah, I wonder. To me, I feel like he's gonna try it, and then Sophia's gonna pretend, but that will lead to him right away being dangerous. I'm not sure. I'm like, interested to see if Penguin will know the difference of the times to spin your wheels and the times like I'm out of luck. And I don't know if Oz knows that yet, right? This might be the way he does knows, but he's always doing that. He's like same thing. Maroney's having dead to right on his knees, talking about how he killed Alberto, and he's going right with them. Like, I don't know. I feel like he's gonna try. He's gonna try a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna obviously work on Sophia this time. I think she's pretty guided. So
Definitely, it's safe to kiss the boots of whoever has the gun pointing at you in whatever situation.
So yeah, she gets a lot. Well, we see a little bit. She's working with stuff with her with these charities about like women's suicide prevention, mental health, all that type of stuff, right? And we already talked about Oz, but you get to establish she's the driver and everything, and you meet, I can't remember her name. She's even in the Batman animated series. Oh crap! But anyways, so the reporter, she's putting together a case against her father. I'm putting a bunch of stuff together, but it's a bunch of women that have died by suicide. But there's always these like questionable things about them, bruises, broken fingernails, not things you'd usually find on a suicide victim. But so at this point, it kind of gets established that Alberto, kind of a dumb fuck. He's not going to be the guy running the family. Carmine gives it to Sophia, but then later on, Sophia has some questions about her mom and everything like that. And then right away, you just see Carmine go into true gaslight mode. Oh, you're sick. Like, there's something wrong with you. And then you can tell it's a bad conversation. Now, did I think it was going to go from 1 to 100 like that, where it's bad conversation to your dad, next day you're in Arkham? No, I thought that was like the start of it. But no, Carmine really takes no... Like, he doesn't even chance it. He doesn't even be like, oh, that conversation with Sophia,
Well,
she'll
the
come
cops
around.
were on him, right? And I mean, she spoke to a reporter. I think that's enough. Like, he's got to just lock it up.
But he
right
could
then
frame
and there.
anybody. The fact that just one conversation he framed his daughter, like right away.
But she went against
Yeah.
the family. She talked to
I
the
know,
reporter. That's
but
like,
just like but she talked to the reporter. She didn't give the reporter anything. She like the reporter gave her stuff. She didn't give them those files, because the second once she kind of knew what the reporter wanted, she's like, oh, my dad's a good man. He went to do all this stuff. So she never actually gave anything. She did talk to them, but yeah, he just sold her out. So what do you guys think about Carmine in this episode? And then what do you guys think about good old Mark Strong playing the younger Carmine Falcone? Played Sinestro in Green Lantern. He was Doctor
was,
whatever Savan in Shazam.
he was in, what movie was he in? John Carter of Mars. He was in there too.
Of course, yeah. Who could forget John Carter of
Yeah.
Mars? I'm shouting out other comic properties. You're like, John Carter of Mars. He was also
Carter of
in.
Mars.
But, yeah.
Brothers Grimsby. You remember that one?
Yeah. Shout out to Ledger.
Yeah, I think he did
I
a
thought he
great
was gonna
job.
name another
Yeah.
Days of
Captain
Our Lives,
Carter
episode
of,
7.
Jupiter.
Yeah, Jupiter
Um,
Ascending.
I think he did a great job playing the young Carmine Falcone. It just has that eeriness. But yeah, I think the character though himself just turning on a dime and just saying to Sophia like, "Oh, you're sick," like everything you had already said. Just just crazy. Especially because he did not believe in anyone else to run the family when he was gone, and he was really, really ready to die on that hill. Especially when she said like there are rules, and he was just kind of like saying like shit on the rules kind of a thing, and then soon after that though it's just like, yeah, you're done, you're gone. I didn't think that they would be that afraid of the press and of all this stuff. I thought that because they run a big crime family, and I'm sure most of Gotham all knows that they run a crime family, and so it's like, are they afraid of their public eye and their public image because they control all of that narrative?
I don't know how much they know yet, right? Because you got to think about this. I can't remember their ages, but remember there was times where the Falcons and the Waynes like worked together a little bit, and this is them running like suicide prevention and mental health stuff. So I feel like this is maybe early on where there's like whispers, like, oh, you know about the Falcone family, but I think it's still their image. I think when we get to the Batman, everyone fucking knows, like, okay, Carmine's fucking dirty criminal. Like, look at Penguin. Like, I think they know, and I think Gotham's even worse. But I think this is probably at a point where maybe it's a bit. Not everyone knows. It's like it's a bad kept secret, right? Because like they don't need to. Like, why does a criminal family need to do like mental health supporting? They don't need to do that, especially when it's like about suicide, and that's how Carmine like framed his wife, right? But even Sophia just thinks her dad's completely good, right? She doesn't even have the concept of how bad he is. So I think that maybe it's just looked as they're a powerful family. They're not the shits yet, which later on they become the shits. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Like it still blows my mind that he was just like, yeah, Arkham's the place to be for you, because when you look at like the comparison, obviously Blackgate's more of like an actual just a prison or a jail,
Yeah.
not a mental place. Like Maroni's living like a fucking champ over at Blackgate. He's still got his goons that are just
Yeah.
with him, and he's calling shots still in there. But again, it makes
that's
sense.
why he didn't want that there. Probably,
That's
right?
exactly right. Yeah, you don't want Sophia in there.
And
So
I feel like Arkham has like a weird check in, but you don't check out policy. Like I feel like Blackgate, yeah, okay, you're not crazy. You got a sentence of 10 years. You're in there. Arkham, it's like as we saw, right? You're in there for 6 months. It's like, the dog, like one doctor says you're not good to not fit to stand trial, so you're in here for 10 years. The jump from 6 months to 10, and even then, I don't think we've got explained. Remember, they said, the newscasters in this show said, like, oh, people are getting released from Arkham. I don't know why. I think it was overcrowding. They probably looked at the
I think
crazy.
it was overcrowding.
Yeah. So, but that's why it's like, if that didn't happen, she's not getting out of there. She just got out of there like by chance. That's shit, like the
exactly
Riddler
right.
maybe fucked shit up, and like more people are in there.
Because
right?
most people
So-
were surprised when she got out. That's true in those first
Yeah.
couple episodes. So it's definitely. I don't think she. Well, yeah, I don't think she was in there for the 10-year period because between that flashback
She
and where we're at
was.
now, I don't think
she
that was.
was.
That was
she
10
was. She
years.
said
That
she-
flashback
10 years of my
and
life.
now,
Yeah.
that really was 10 years.
Yeah. So when she
Wow.
killed Magpie, that then jumped 10 years later. So yeah, she said you took 10 years of my life.
So we didn't
Which I-
have Batman back then. He was just a like.
Yeah,
Were
I
his
don't think-
parents
no.
alive at that
Who's that
point?
lad?
That's what I was trying to figure out, because obviously they have her playing like a younger version. They changed her hair a little bit, but like she looks pretty much the same. And I'm fine. You don't need to recast. So I don't know, like, because even I think Pattinson's supposed to be in his 30s now. So I think he would have been like, Bruce would have been like 20. So he's probably still
Okay.
just training
Yeah,
away
'cause
right now.
He's training. He's probably off
Yeah.
with Ra's al Ghul because there was definitely no.
Not comic accurate. That's just Nolan. But
Because he in the movie he's 2 years in, so that would put him.
Yes.
Okay, so this is 8 years before the Batman makes his debut in Gotham. Then during those flashbacks. Okay.
yes, it is. So yeah, the 8-year mark, there's a fucking bat somewhere, and all the Arkham Asylum people are going crazy. What's that?
That's right.
I
Yeah,
s-
but you
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh, I was saying, I was hoping Barry was gonna be in there, but then when I found out they took her to the woman's wing, I was like, oh damn! But I thought just a shot, or even just the laugh of him. But no, we didn't get.
I thought it was
that.
gonna be Harley instead of Magpie in the
I
cell
thought
next
that
to him,
too.
and I was a little worried. I'm like, let's just not go there. Let's just not go there. And then right away she says Magpie, and I'm like, is that like a Harley alias? I hope not.
No, she is unfortunately not making it to the Batman 2, but she is a trained hand-to-hand like assassin in the DC comic
Magpie?
book. Yeah, Magpie. Yeah, Margaret Pye.
Wouldn't have thought that 'cause she got fucked up.
Yeah, it's not a
she got
hand-to-hand
fucked up pretty quick.
assassin in this show, but like I kind of like, because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe James Gunn is like, fuck, I was gonna use Magpie, but like trust me, I don't think anyone was gonna use Magpie. So like I think that's fun. Like, oh yeah, throw her in there. You know, like have a combo character that's like, you know, killed her mom. I think there's some similar origin stuff, and I guess I'm actually wrong when I said about Barry. Barry, I guess, wouldn't have been, because I think they insinuate in the Batman that he put the Joker away, so I guess he wouldn't have been Arkham yet. So think about that.
Right.
There's a chance Sophia Falcone's been in Arkham longer than Joker at this point, and look how fucked up he is. So it's not a good
That's
place
our-
to be.
That's Gotham's crime system.
You
Yeah.
mentioned a good thing with just how things kind of like get out of control when you're there, because when she's there and she's being told like her rights, everything like that, like, oh yeah, you're not getting visitation, anything like that. Like, what the fuck can you do? You're stuck there,
stuck.
already in their hands, their grasp, and no one's gonna help you. But when you see Alberto in the first episode, you really think he's a piece of shit. But it's consistent. You see in the flashbacks that he's always been a piece of shit to Oz, and he's just partying, and even the family looks down upon him. But he really, really shines, and the actor does a good job at this. Just he's the only one that stood there for her, and it just goes in hand with like how he was there all the time visiting her. I guess she got those visitation rights later on after her 10-year sentence. So yeah, I just think that it's, you know, you really feel for them because they really got dealt the shitty end of the stick. And I wonder too, because obviously the whole family signed the document saying she was unfit and kind of mentally unstable, but he
Jeez
didn't,
Louise.
and I guess it makes sense. So
Yeah, I feel like they did such a good job. It's kind of funny of like making the Falcone family seem so much more shitty. So now when I can't wait to watch that party episode when they were talking about like, oh, we should go to Paris, all this, like when she was there at the family funeral, just thinking about like everybody must have been like, fuck, like Sophia's
Yeah.
here and we sign her away. But I think it's actually, I'll save that point to later. But also I think it's maybe a little, again, I can't wait to watch the Batman. I feel like they made Carmine like even shittier than he was in the Batman of like, oh yeah, Selena's illegitimate daughter, killed his mom, bad criminal. But now it's like sent his daughter away, killed his wife, like, and who knows what she did. It's just like it's just like with each form of media in the Batman universe, Carmine gets like shittier and shittier. When at first it was like, oh yeah, he's kind of friendly with Thomas Wayne, so maybe it's like he's a criminal, but he's just, you know, has to do that, right? That's his family legacy. But it's like, no, he's doing stuff he doesn't need to do. But
Well,
I thought Mark Strong did a good job as well for, you know, trying to be a younger version. So
that's the relationship dynamic I'd love to see, and I hope Sophia makes it out of the show because I want to see Selena Kyle and Sophia like, hey, we're sisters, you know.
I love that. I don't think it's happening. I don't think her and Oz can coexist. Like, I think one has to go down, and unfortunately for Christina, they're keeping Colin Farrell. I think it's her and Vic are going down together. But maybe I'm wrong. I'd love it if she had like something going on the side. I don't know if she was like another person. But that's what I was gonna say before I throw it to Kirkland. I'll say it now. I feel like they're doing the Captain America. They're doing the Endgame, Falcon Winter Soldier, Captain America 4 thing where Sam gets the shield, and you don't need to watch the show. The show gives you some backstory, but when Cap 4 is going to happen, you just go, oh, well, he got the shield Endgame, so he's Captain America now, right? I feel like it's the same way where when you watch the Batman and the Batman 2, you'll be like, oh, well, Carmine died, so that went to Falcone family. But really, it was Sophia and Penguin fucking around that got the Falcon. It wasn't Batman that took them all down. He took out, even Carmine he didn't. The Riddler fucking sniped him. I guess he did arrest him, but who knows how that would have went, right? But that's where it's funny where you can watch those two, and if you watch the movies, you're just going to think, oh, well, Batman took out the family. It was all him. But really, in the show, and again, you don't need to, though, happen, right? Because I think it's just going to be Penguin's going to be running that operation. So that's why, again, I think Christina's done so good. I almost wonder after the fact if they would have been like, oh, like, maybe let's not, let's keep her around. But I think they probably designed the show for her to eat it, unfortunately, you know?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Wow.
What do you think of new young Carmine there?
Yeah,
Kirkland,
that was
start there.
surprising. When he first appears on screen, I was like, oh shit, we got oh my god, what's
John
the actor's
Carter.
name?
John Carter. Guy from
John Carter.
Yeah.
No, John
Mark Strong.
John
Strong.
Turturro. There we go. I was like,
John
oh, we got him
Turturro,
back.
yeah.
I'm like, hell yeah, this is exciting. I love that actor, especially in that role. And then, like, it just kind of zooms in closer. I'm like, that is not the same guy. There's no way it's the same guy. And then
They
yeah,
tried, I guess, but it was scheduling issues, so they got
Okay.
Mark Strong instead, who like has like a good enough like profile that looks like him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he like got you there, right? So
Oh, for sure. Like, they talk very differently though, so that
Yes.
was like the biggest thing for me to kind of get around. I could accept it,
decade
but
of
like
drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
They'll change your voice, right? You know, like
that's a good point. A lot of the
Yeah.
drops.
a lot of drop
Probably,
heads. Yeah. Oh, change his voice, everything.
Probably changed his voice, but I thought he was fantastic. Like even though I thought it felt different than that version, like it still was a very imposing character, and I liked the moment that he had like the nice moment between him and Sophia, and you could really see like from Sophia's perspective, like just her admiration and love for her father there, and then like that quickly turns when she brings up her mom, and he's just like, you know, this upsets me every time you bring this up. It's like, oh my
yeah,
god,
what a piece of
This-
shit.
Yeah, this is like that's her fucking mom that she's been like carried this drama with that you caused with your own hands. So right away it was just like a total villain switch. Like I knew he was a villain, obviously, but like in that moment, it's like, oh, okay, no, he's a villain even though his
There's
own
still
family.
layers to it, right? Like I didn't think when we watched the Batman, this guy shipped his daughter off to Arkham. That to me is like
No.
an even lower level of a villain. It's like there's
Yeah.
there's a criminal villain, and there's like he's up there with fucking like he's not destroying the city, but like and he literally was 24 hours going to give her the whole business. He was going to hand it off to her, and then to be like just even a mere conversation about it. Like,
Yeah.
mate, no, you're going to Arkham. Sorry. It's like, fuck. Like,
Yeah,
data.
just like
Ugh.
like with his own hands strangling the life out of all these women. It's just like, oh my
Yeah.
god, that is like serial killer fucked up. So yeah, it was really interesting to just see that dynamic. We already kind of just talked about the shocking ramp up, I think, to send Sophie away. I feel like for me that was like a little jarring, but again, it's just like, wow, this character is that fucked up. Like I think from the scene that we had between Sophia, Alberto, and him, I'm like, there's no way that that he would do that. And then when it actually happened, it seemed like a bit of a jump, but it's also like, wow, that really just goes to show how much of a piece of shit he is. So I did like that for the overall just health of the story, and yeah, I really, really, really like the moment too, how like we see all the what are they called? Affidavits? Is it like an F? Do you know?
Aphrodisiac.
No,
No.
Taylor's wrong.
Definitely not. John
Affidavits.
Carter on Mars.
Affidavits.
Affidavits. There you go.
Yeah.
Just like that realization when she's just like, no, just talk to my family. Like everybody, like we'll just be able to talk this out. And then you see like all these like professionally written like
Yeah.
claims that you're out
Ready
of
to
your fucking
go.
mind. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like betrayed by everyone that you thought you loved. And for her perspective, it just shatters the whole I guess, false narrative of what she thought her family was, because especially when
Yes.
she grows up in that environment. Um, I love the sequence between her and Alberto in the flashback when he's like going to the iceberg lounge and she's starting to ask him some questions about her father, and it's just like, man, like, why are you asking these questions? Like, we have a good life, like,
Yeah.
just go with it. And she's like, okay, yeah, you're right, like, I know deep down my dad's a good guy, which is obviously a lie, but it just goes to show like how much when you grow up in that environment, like, your whole perspective is just twisted and tweaked and you don't really understand how the world works. So I like how we kind of got to see that whole realization from Sophie, even though it, how she got it was 6 months plus 10 years of just pure like
Yeah.
literal torture in this mental assignment of just constantly getting gaslighted. And like, I'm surprised she's not more fucked up after the 10 years, honestly, if that was her daily routine for
I
just
think we're gonna get there. I think she's gonna
Yeah.
I think she's gonna snap again, and something's gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
if Oz pulls one on her, I think you're gonna see Sophia. Like she killed her whole family, but it was a very like, kind of not nice way, but like they all would have died in their sleep, right? It wasn't. She didn't take a fucking chainsaw and like went after them, but still, it's like
Yeah.
she still killed her whole family. But I feel like it's there after what she did to Magpie, right? She just smashed her face in on the cement or the steel
Yeah.
table. So that's what's like, or like, fuck it. We've said it before. If Penguin, like, maybe she fucking goes to town on Vic. She met Vic, right? She knows, like, that could be the thing of now we really get to see Vic was his driver. And there's two ways they could do it. They could make it like Vic turns on Penguin, so that's the circle moment of the same way Penguin kind of turned on Sophia, right? It could be something like that, like the drive or someone trusts, like even Sophia, which was funny because the whole episode they painted her to be good, but the one time Penguin tries to give her some advice, she's like, "Shut up, you're my fucking driver." And I was like, whoa. So that's, again, it's almost like her dad, where it shows, okay, she is maybe a better person, but some of that's still in there because she didn't have to
Yeah.
go to Oz literally said, "Oh, I'm just trying to help you out." And I almost wonder if she didn't shit on him if he wouldn't have went to her dad, because I felt like she did that. Or no, that was after the fact, right? He said, "I was just trying to help you out." So he was brown nosing no matter what, but still, like, she just snapped at him, and that felt like the Sophia of now. And what I was gonna say, Kirk, when you're talking about Alberto saying like, "Oh, we got a good life," that's why I still think the family was not known to be criminals, because that's where it's like, hey, just don't even speak into existence. Where if you look at Alberto 10 years later, he's like, "Oh, I can't wait to do this." Like, that's why I think he's also different now too, because he's had 10 years without his sister. He probably just more doing drugs, all this stuff. And that's where now I think it's much more, okay, everyone knows what we do now. We're criminals, whatever. We're then it's like, let's try to we're trying to be, I can't remember what they called in the business. Maybe it's straight. I don't know, but it's something like that where it's like, yeah, you're trying to make it seem like you're something. And like, look, Gus and Breaking Bad, right? All his money comes from Los Polos, but it's like, no,
Yeah.
like where it's coming from is not Los Polos.
It's
you
clean
know? So-
cut though. It appears that he's
Yes.
all professional businessman.
Yeah. So, and that's where again I'm, semi mad. Carmine's already dead, because that's the other thing we learned too, that. So yeah, she's not the hangman. The hangman's literally Carmine. And how did Selena's dad or mom die too? By strangling. So this dude just fucking loves strangling people. That was his fucking gimmick, man. He just loved to, like, whether it was a noose, whether it's his hands, that was his gimmick, was just to strangle life out of people. So that ties it again that, like, I wish they would meet, because now it's like their moms were killed the same way, her and Selena's, right? Strangled by the dad, both got scratched and everything. I love that scene where they're playing hide and seek. The little girl finds his mom, and he's like, "Oh, you can't see that." And he just brings her up to like hide her. But then when he adjusts his glasses, you can see like his hands bloody and everything. Like that's okay. Why the fuck is your hand? And then she's starting to remember that. So it's like, oh man, it's again just good. So many layers to all these scenes, and yeah, it's good stuff. But let's take an ad break before we continue. We'll be right back. And we're back. So yeah, let's talk about actual Arkham, where we get in there. I loved this. Now I think on a theatrical budget, I would want Arkham to look like a little more like ratty. Like when they're having lunch and everything, it just looks like a prison. I hope if we go back, like to me, what Riddler and Joker were in, where it's very like gross. And maybe I guess this could be like it's 10 years ago, right? So maybe it did look better. I hope if we see Arkham again, it just looks more I want to look like a haunted mansion pretty much, right? I want to be like a place where they don't get lots of funding, they don't got cleaners, you just throw in crazy people. But I love that the whole shower down, everything, they're fucking spreading their legs, checking for stuff, just brutal. But I love when they put her to bed and all the lights go out and it's just like screaming and laughter. That's what I want Arkham Asylum to be, of just like, it's a fucking madhouse. You got Magpie like, "Hi, hello," and her like eyes peeping through the hole. Like, it felt like, and Batman had that too, but this again felt like a horror movie. It had those scenes where it's like, this is messed up. So I don't know if it'll happen in the trilogies, but I hope we, especially maybe if we go back there with Barry, and I want that feel of like this place is, it is, it's for the mentally ill, but it's more just an insane asylum. That in those like, whether it's your Cryptic Clues Taylor or we watch Unsolved Mysteries, like those things where it's like, oh yeah, this place is haunted because like all this weird shit went on. It's like that's what Arkham should be. So I loved the vibe of it. I love that the doctors are all fucking weirdos. They're giving her a fork to attack that lady. Like that to me is what Arkham is. Arkham should be. It is not your local hospital. Like messed up stuff's happening there. Again, I was hoping the older guy was gonna be Hugo Strange. He wasn't. I just, especially with this facility being the way it is. But yeah,
Well, it's
other
a good
than
thing
like,
it wasn't, right? Because it sets it up later on
True.
down the road. Because he wouldn't. Because even when she's talking to the air quote good therapist at the
Julian
end,
Rush there.
yeah, she's like, well, it was this doctor, and then after him it was that doctor, then after him it was that
True,
doctor, like
yeah.
the new leaders of Arkham. So especially if
Yeah.
it was a 10-year gap, like I am at least happy that we're saving Hugo for a potential patent.
I
on,
hope, yeah, because I don't think Julian's making it out either. He's just fucking hard anytime Sophia's around. My God, he's just like, he can't think. He has no faculties. I was really worried when she woke up from her dream sequence that was happening in Arkham. Like, oh fuck, why is she waking up to this guy over? But then I understood that he saved her, but like she's still using him, right? Like she didn't like she kind of called him pathetic and said like, oh, you're trying to make good for what you did, but I thought for a moment she was gonna kill him in that house. I thought, oh, he's done, but
Same.
no, she didn't. So like, she's still like keeping him around for what I don't know yet, and that's why I don't know. But the Arkham stuff for me, like I said, other than I wanted to be look a little more ratted, 10 out of 10 aura wise for me, and yeah, good stuff. Magpie, poor Magpie, just trying to make a friend, and maybe the wrong time to say, oh, we're gonna be best friends now, but that was fun enough. So no, but I liked the Arkham stuff, and I hope we one way or another in this verse return there, because we've not gotten enough of it in Batman live action, really.
Yeah. These stories of like whether it's like 12 Monkeys or like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I feel like those, it's like almost like the scariest version of horror for me is like a non-psycho person being like trapped in a psycho asylum, and it's just no one's gonna believe you because everybody's saying the same thing. And like,
Yes.
I don't know, I also just like the directing style of her going through all these things in Arkham. Like it was terrifying, and like what do you do in that situation?
And you
where
were
she's,
just
like,
living the
screaming that
life.
she's innocent. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Right, like it's 100% shift in less than 24 hours for her, and yeah, it was definitely just raw. Like the moments when she first gets there, they just strip her down like a fucking animal and just hose her. Imagine that water's like an ice bath too.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like the fire hose that they're doing, and then
It's like Charlton Heston and Planet of the Apes. It's like that scenario.
Madhouse.
Yeah.
yeah, like she's literally in the madhouse, and then she gets like just beaten on in the cafeteria with that one psycho lady that's just unchained.
She's the hangman. She killed all those women, and you're like, oh
Just-
fuck,
yeah.
shut up.
I feel like
Unchained.
she's getting like physically abused, but like the mental toll that she's receiving every single day for like 6 months plus 10 years is just, that's
Yeah.
where like by the end of it, I'm like, how is her mind even like able to formulate a sentence? I feel like she would be fractured like Magpie by the end of that. But
I guess she had to play it cool to try to hopefully get out, right? Because if they when it was uncrowded, they would have let out the people that were the most normal or sane, right? Like you're
Yeah.
not letting out Barry's Joker because, like, obviously fucked
Yeah.
up guy. You're not gonna let out the Riddler, but it's like, Sophia Falcone, like she's killed a couple people, but then like, whatever. Like she's hopefully I don't know. Well, obviously I don't think we'll get more flashbacks, but that must have been part of the mindset is like you gotta be
yeah.
cool a little bit if you want to try and get out of here maybe one day,
And I feel like that's another thing that was just so like gut wrenching when it happened, was like she's trying to just keep mentally like there for 6 months because that's when she's having her trial, and then she can just prove that she's innocent. And like I feel like especially when she meets Alberto like at the end, his own reaction to seeing her is just like he's just shocked of like everything that she must have gone through for her to look this way. And she's like holding on by a thread, like, all right, this trial's going on. I think I can formulate a sentence to make it seem like I'm not insane. And then just getting like the reality of like 10 more years. And she's just like, she cracks. She's giggling almost like the Joker is. Like and how can you not be? Like it's just, it's such a wild thing for someone to go through. And definitely felt for her like throughout this whole episode. And it makes sense by the end why she would want to murder the whole family, and I'm totally in support of her. Like these assholes just totally fucked her over. So, yeah, no, I absolutely love this episode, and just getting like a glimpse into Arkham. It's like I want more of this, but it's also so disturbing. It's like I don't think I could handle like a full season of like an Arkham show or something. Like it's like Outlast level of like the Murkoff asylum industry. Like it's just that level of fucked upness. I'm sure there's some crazy stuff going on in the basement of Arkham, and yeah, they did a really good job at just kind of showcasing it and making it seem like it's not a nice place that you'd want to be. And I will say I feel like what was I gonna say? Oh, quickly before I forget, because I meant to bring this up earlier. I just getting back to me really liking the placement of this episode. I like that we got all the meaning of the family earlier on in the season, and then by the time we get to this episode and we see all the affidavits, and it's like holy shit, like all those people that were like air quote friendly with Sophia like in the early portion of the episodes, like they just completely lied to her face, and just like they're all two-faced, like they're all just grimy criminals at the end of the day, and no loyalty like at all. Like even Johnny, right, like he's fucking that one guy's wife, like everyone is probably fucking each other over in that house. So I just liked how that was kind of revealed in this episode. But the one kind of holdback I guess I had is like for me, and it's not fully answered yet, so I'll try and I don't know, hold off some of my minor criticisms with it. But I was kind of hoping that the other doctor was also just like a total like evil character as well, like her therapist that kind of like, I don't know, we didn't see how it exactly happened, but he says that he helped Alberto like get her out of Arkham.
That's right.
Part of me is like, I kind of just don't want this guy that's like, like going up to the doctors like maybe she's innocent, like maybe not. Like I feel I would have found it just so much more fucked up if like she has no help at all, and these people, like these doctors, are these evil doctors that are there to just gaslight her and like just make her go crazy. Like I feel like I would have preferred that, because I don't know, at least right now, because I don't fully know what's going on with that therapist guy, and I feel like this angle of him like trying to be the good guy and help her out, like I'm just not really for it. But who knows? More hopefully will be revealed in a future episode. But yeah,
I was gonna say hopefully, because like a lot of those members of her family are dead. He could have screen time with her, right, to flesh that out. Like he
True.
might be around, so that's what I'm kind of hoping. Because yeah, I get it's a good guy, but like I said, it's also just feel like okay, he kind of has a hots for her, but it's okay. What else? Like why do I care, right? Other than I guess there's one nice person in Gotham, but even then she's like, well, you did a lot of shady stuff too, so I don't know.
and that's why I think I was worried, because I was like 100% convinced she was going to kill him right at the end there.
Yeah.
It's like, why do we even do this? Why do we have this character? It's like, I'm not really a bad guy. Like, I was looking out for you, even though I was still like torturing you. Because I feel like when they first meet and he's like interviewing her for the first time, it's like pretty obvious that, at least how it seemed to me, that he was just twisting her words and literally like, oh,
Yes.
so you're paranoid, right? Write that down, that she's like going insane. And it's just like, oh my God, this is such a one-way battle. Like there's no way that she can win out of this, because this evil doctor is just twisting her words, and that's the only one that matters. And then it's revealed that he's like actually not a bad guy. It's like, so then why the fuck was he doing that? Like he's like mind gaming her instead of just having a normal conversation. So
That's what you do at Arkham, That's
yeah,
your job. It's the
that's
gaslight
their
24/7.
orientation. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it is. Yeah.
So fair enough. I just didn't love what they were wanting to do with that character, but like I said, I'll hopefully hold off, because I'm expecting us to get more scenes with him. He didn't die in this episode, so
Yeah, because like he has to be around for some reason. There's no like then like I said, then just kill him.
he's
then,
gonna kill Vic.
He's gonna kill Penguin. He is. They're gonna do like the Batman, the Robin thing from Nolan. Gonna be like, you should use a real name, Hugo. It sounds nice. And he's like, oh, thanks. Go back, dog.
It bothers me, because I'm sure Bruce is bothered too, when you do such a good job and then the government's like, all right, let's start just mass releasing all these fucking criminals out of Arkham.
Yeah.
Out of Arkham, not Blackgate, fucking Arkham. So that's kind of shitty. But yeah, I think that everything that was going on with her just being locked up in there, and just the setting and all that, it's not even the same with the Joker. And like, not spoiling, but Folie à Dieu, you get Arkham, but it's very, very different, right? It feels kind of like just a sanitarium, and out of like just a regular a regular old sanitarium. This one, as you said, Kirkland, it feels like that Murkoff, like fucking brutal. You don't want to be in here. It's terrible. And the moment she started freaking, Sophia started freaking out about it, then I was freaking out. I'm thinking, fuck, I don't want to go here. I don't want to go. Don't make me go.
Madison, no, I'm not
Madison's
going.
Go against the family.
But I hope that we do get a little bit more of this representation. I'd love it to see. This would be so cool if somehow Batman, he's walking into like a Gordon's police joint, but I'd love to see him somehow get lured into here. If you have some setting where he has to get in here, and then the cells open, like like Watchmen style, where you get them trapped in the prison. I would love to see something like that here, where they are like Bruce is just like caught.
There's a massive hit video game too you could play called Batman Arkham
What?
Asylum, and they cover that whole plot line. But no, that for me is a dream for someone to be like, I would love it even if it's not Pattinson, if it's not James Gunn DC, if they're like, hey, we're gonna do an Elseworlds, it's just gonna be about one night, we're gonna cast the guy's Batman, he gets locked in Arkham, go. Like you don't gotta adapt the video game one for one, but pretty much that video game like that, or there's an Arkham Asylum book, like I think there's tons of, especially release that around spooky season, make it like a haunted, like the house type of movie. Like I think there's buckets of money they're missing that they've not done a Batman Arkham Asylum movie yet. Very easy. Put them in there, cast a bunch of fucking up and comers as villains, go.
Mm-hmm.
That's my pitch, James. If you're listening, if you're somewhere listening, that's the GeekVerse Studios pitch. It's just give us 40 million, we're good to go. Let's see. So that happened. Yeah, she got out of there. We talked about her killing the family. Great speech. Cut off the uncle. Very, rude, but she didn't have any time for that. Then yeah, she took the little girl out. So didn't want to kill her. Killed them all. Left Johnny alive. Who I guess I'm guessing he must have some stuff to do with like bankrolling that. Like there has to be. Because that's the only thing I thought. Like, how could she pull us all off if they're all dead? Doesn't make sense.
Could she pin it on him? Is that another potential route?
I guess, but why couldn't you just say it's like the Maronis, right? The same way that's what they did with the her brother, right? They just said, "Oh yeah, the Maronis killed Alberto," and then until now she knows it's Penguin, but because that ring went missing, right? So they just like, okay. So I think you could just do that again. You could pin it on Johnny, but I don't know. I think he's there for other reasons. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what we get next week with Sophia, maybe with some new power. Penguin might be powerless. Like I don't know. I really don't know what his next step is with no Maronis, no Falcones. Yeah, hiding out there. I don't know, but I'm very curious to see what him and Vic get up to next week, because I feel like this is the lowest he's been, even lower than a driver. At least a driver, they're not trying to fucking kill you, but now you're enemy number one. So
it is interesting because like a lot of the power of the Falcons is definitely shaky. I feel like Penguin is just gonna like flee to the what the hell are they called, the Maronis. There we go.
Oh yeah.
Like although Nadia, I think that was her name, the one lady that had him dead to rights and was just airing all of his dirty laundry to Sophia there. I feel like there's still some, I don't know, something that he can kind of like just win them over on, or like something along those lines, because he doesn't really have any other allies, and like I don't think he's just gonna be on his own. And Sophia, with her kind of just kidnapping Johnny, whatever the hell's gonna come out of that, I definitely don't think he's gonna find much solace in the Falcone family. I keep mixing up the Maronis and the Falcones in my name now, these mafia names, but yeah. So part of me thinks that like he still wants the Carmine. I'm using his first name now. The Falcone, just like empire. Like he still wants his little penguin toes around that. But I don't know. It's gonna be tough, especially with Sophia still kicking. Because even if he gets rid of her, what is still really around for the Falcones? Like, do they have henchmen that just don't have like bosses to listen to? Like how much of the actual like infrastructure of that mafia family is effective now? Like, is this just the end of the Falcones in general? Like, they're gonna have no leadership? Is everyone just gonna kind of get absorbed in the Maronis or the Triads or whatever other families are
well,
still
that's why I wonder if
kicking?
he takes out the Falcones and the Maronis somehow, and then that's how he kind of gets them both. It's like, well, maybe having one might be not enough, but if he gets two, then it's a lot of coverage, a lot of clients, a lot of
Well,
clubs.
the Maronis said that they took their like Sophia's like whole lab that she was working on, which is a setback because if they didn't
that's
take
right.
that, I was thinking, okay, then Oz could just take over the relationship with the triads, right? And that would be a huge boost because then he has Sophia's operation, everything like that, and has the connections that he arranged with them. So that would be pretty big. But I don't know what he has. He has to have something up his sleeve because when he was leaving when the last episode with Vic, he's like, "We're in this shit now, Vic. Woo!" He's like just riding a high. So he obviously, it might have been preemptive, his hands being shown to Sophia and to the Maronis, but I think he's got something lined up for sure.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think
You
Penguin's
don't think
working
so?
on his feet. No, I think he's gonna go to Plan Z right now and figure. But I think he's gonna figure it out. He's gonna find one way. As we've seen, he's a squirrely motherfucker. But yeah. Anything else in this episode?
I'm curious to see going forward if we get like Penguin showing like any regret for things that he's done like over this whole situation, like how it could have been easier or better if he had just done, I don't know, XYZ.
I thought he did last week, but
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck
And,
Sophia, leave her."
Again, I think he does, but until then, if his life's on the line, it's like no, that's gone. He just casts that to the side. So
Yeah. So I'm not very hopeful about it, but we'll see. Vic, I think would be the one kind of person that he has solace in, but I'm getting worried for Mama Penguin now after the events of this
yeah.
episode. I think she's it's over for her. Sophie's gonna be up in the ceiling of her bedroom next episode. It's over for you.
and poor mom who has dementia is gonna be like really not knowing what's going on.
But that is a good thing that Oz has on her. At least he told Sophia that his mom died a while back, right? So
Yeah, that she's
unless she somehow Mama Penguin just remembers, like, oh, Oz is downtown. Like, I'll go down and like, Oz, where are you?
Sophia. No, I think I've always said that I think there's a part of her that knows, or she's at least gonna find out. Maybe that's what Julian's gonna do. Maybe he's gonna go do some sleuthing, and he's gonna. I could see him being
Julian? Who's that?
Julian Rush. That's the therapist guy that
Oh,
has the
right,
hots
yeah.
for her. I could see him like he's on the back foot, and it's like, well, find me something to know about Oz, especially because if she has like a mental condition, maybe at one point got Oz like backdoor got some medicine or something, right? Or even like some sort of
Oh,
consultant and then put her in Arkham for a decade. But no, like I think that could be Julian's maybe play in this, that he finds Penguin's mom, and that would be the end of Julian. But
and I mean, she does have that undercover cop right in her back pocket. Totally forgot about that. So that might be the
the
guy.
drophead guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Both of them. Aaron says, "Do you guys think Sophia might end up back in Arkham at the end of the season?" I would love that. That's my pro want the most is Penguin wins, has the crime families, but Sophia's there. But it's just tough because unless I don't know, like, of course I don't know the plans, right? We've got no villains announced, but I don't see her being in the Batman 2 nor 3 because I think the 3 is going to probably be Joker's movie. I think they're going to lead up to him. And I think that, well, I don't think you're getting a Penguin season 2, so I think it's probably just easier to kill her off. I guess you could have her end there and still never bring her back as well, right? But to me, if you keep her alive, especially after this performance, I think people will almost be expecting her to come back. And who knows? Maybe they kept her alive and like, hey, let's see, because if people are lukewarm on her, you can just say, well, she's Arkham. The same way as like technically, I know it's different because Heath Ledger passed, but that's the end of Joker's story in the Dark Knight series, right? It's, well, he went to prison and he never got out again, right? So if they don't care about her, it's like, well, okay, Sophia's locked up there and Penguin won, and maybe it's like, well, then if people do like her, we can bust her out. But again, you got to remember too, lots of people are watching the Penguin, but there's still like a difference of people watching the Penguin versus the movie, right? Like I don't know anybody right now in my personal life that's watched the Penguin that saw the Batman. My in-laws, my mom, sister, even Emily, who wants to. She's been busy, but it's like, oh yeah, I'll get to it eventually. There's a
That
difference
have
between
watched Penguin but haven't watched the
no
Batman?
other way around. That like
Okay.
watch Batman, but it's like, oh, there's Penguin. Oh yeah, cool. But it's like that's the same thing. They won't have the same hype. Like, oh, Sophia's coming back. So I still am thinking she's dead. But you guys think there's any chance she ends up in Arkham?
I'm on kind of the opposite because like, even at Thanksgiving dinner with Madison's like aunt and uncle, like they're like, "Oh, you podcast this weekend?" Like, yeah, like, "Oh, what are you doing?"
Satani.
Like, yeah, closing the windows.
What's that smell?
What's that smell?
But yeah, I said like, "Oh, we're reviewing Penguin." They're like, "Oh yeah, we're really enjoying that." I'm like, Really? Okay. I'm loving it too. I didn't think
Mhm.
that as many people were actually engaging in
That's
it,
good.
and I'd be curious to see what the numbers are if they actually like drop the numbers of the show, see what they turn out in comparison to like a Disney Plus Marvel show. Because I think this is
Well, it's doing
definitely
better
doing
than
better.
Agatha and stuff. It's doing like
Right.
it seems to be bouncing back between on like the first 3 to 5 days. It's like a 1.5 to 1.8. It's always been there, but that's just the first 5 days, right? Things will pick up. I could see it being a show that it'll get recommended a lot on HBO and Crave when the Batman 2 is coming out. I imagine,
Oh
right? Like,
yeah.
have you get ready for the Batman, you know? But Taylor, you still think Sophie has a chance to make it alive? You said at the beginning of the episode.
I think that they're oh, she's really like the only last powerhouse of the Falcone family, and I think that for that reason you need to keep her alive. But I think it would just be bittersweet if you have Oz getting her sent back to Arkham again, something like that. That would just really cement him as just being a downright asshole, and not him not having a regret sending her back there. So I think that would be the way to go about it. Again, and I'm saying that too from a place where, like I said earlier, I want to see Selena Kyle and her have that
Right.
face to
Yeah.
face, which probably will not happen, but maybe we can remain hopeful.
That's the
So
only thing I would hope is I don't think it would be a Penguin season 2, but my dream is that I know there's been the Arkham show, the cop show rumored, and not there's been big rumors, but that's where you could bring her back as if they did a Selena show, and then there's something there you could even for an episode. So that would be my hope. I'm still hoping, but I think she's dead. Kirkland, end us off. What do you think's happening to Sophia at the beginning? We talked about it at the beginning, but now after an hour of discussion, have you changed?
No, pretty much the same. I think no matter what, it's not going to end well for her. She'll either die or, like, even worse than that, get sent back to Arkham for like another 10 years. And I'd be terrified for Oz if she eventually gets out again, because I feel like she would just be that, like, just multiplied, like her insane level of vengeance. She probably could be putting Batman to shame with the level of vengeance she would have after that event. So, yeah, I don't think it's gonna end well for her, and I kind of am hoping that she gets dismantled in a way that like Oz really gets like the upper hand on her, and then it's just like revealed of like, wow, this guy actually is quite crafty, and he did surpass or outlive, I guess, all of the Falcones, and just kind of setting up his legacy going forward, because I imagine he's still going to be a part of the Batman's stories going forward, and just have him in a more powerful role. It would say a lot for just the growth of the character, because even in this show already we've got to see the just the driver version of Oz, and if you take that jump 10 years plus whatever the length of time is going to be for his next appearance in Batman, it's just like he really rose up and became like a certain crime boss. I don't know what family he's going to be leading. I don't know if it's going to be like a mixture of a bunch of different families or whatnot, but for Sophia, no, thumbs down. She's not gonna make it out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Well, next week when we start, we'll be in the back half of the season. Should be an interesting time. Hopefully, it keeps up this quality, but I don't think any of us are worried. So, thank you very much for listening. When we be back next week, it'll not be boring.
Bye.
Oh, I'm supposed to hit the end live stream. Shit.